Can you talk the talk? I'm Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks, episode 338. You can find the show notes for today's episode at decoratingtipsandtricks.com/338. So, decorator lingo to know. Knowledge is power, and you're going to get the scoop from us on various terms that you may have heard, maybe you will hear in the future, and maybe ones that you kind of not 100% sure what they mean.
Yeah, I loved going through a list of all of these terms, and I found a few that I didn't know. So I think it's a good day when I learn something. I love learning.
Yeah, so, and it's not a completely all in, totally comprehensive list, but these are a few that jumped out at us that we thought, could deserve a little going over. Some you may know, and if there are others that you have questions about or ones that you would like us to add to the list to share with the others, certainly shoot us an email and let us know, and maybe we'll do even a part 2 because there's certainly a lot of terms to cover in the decorating world. Anita, you want to kick us off?
Well, of course, I'm going to start with the word bespoke.
That's a great word.
Because we do have our store, our online store is bespokedecor.store. So I thought that would be a great place to start. Bespoke means something custom made, especially for you. And it is a term that is used much more often in the UK than it is in the US, but it is used quite often there. And it's such a beautiful word. That's why we chose it for our store.
It is a beautiful word, and it definitely evokes a certain level of quality and customization, and so it's a really beautiful term. And if that is applied to products that you're purchasing, you can really rest assured that they're really well done and well made with you in mind. My first one is piping or welting. They can be used interchangeably, and that is the trim on a sofa or a chair or a pillow. So it's a fabric covered cord, and it is attached inside the seam. I guess it might be sort of geographical where people use the term. I always knew from the East Coast it to be welting. I've also heard people use the term piping. But you get the cord that goes inside the fabric, and the fabric gets wrapped around. It can be a self-welt, which is a combined word, which means it is the same fabric as the main fabric. So say if it's a pillow and the main pillow is, some sort of floral print, if it had to self-welt, the welting would be in that same floral pattern. If it's a contrasting welt, then you might have a solid or something like that.
I have made so many self-welt. What did you call it? Self-welting?
Yes.
I call it piping, but I have made so much custom piping for pillows, slip covers, so many things that I've made. So I feel like I'm so familiar with piping. I feel like I know maybe a little too much about it. I've made a lot.
Yeah.
So that's one that's near and dear to my heart. How about the word eclectic, which is a marriage of various design aesthetics? And we do use that term a lot, and it does refer to these disparate styles that you bring together for a beautiful look.
And I am going to go into a piece of furniture, a settee. Now, a settee is sort of a cross between a bench and a sofa. It's narrower and smaller than a love seat. So not to be confused with a love seat. And I was actually thinking about the one that I always refer to. I think I call it a settee more often in my dining room. That's probably more like a love seat. A settee seems to me also to have straighter back. It seems like a little bit less comfortable, maybe, at least visually, than a love seat or a sofa. And often it's used in an entryway. It's a smaller piece of furniture.
Yes, well said. Feng Shui is the concept of crafting a welcoming, functioning space with good energy. So that is a term you will hear a lot bandied about.
Yes, and I think, are going to do an episode on that, or at least I think we should. I don't know if we've discussed it, but I think that is worth a deep dive for sure, because I think people have some misconceptions about what that is all about. Kilm, a boho favorite. It's a Turkish rug that's flat woven, often with geometric designs. It should be hand loomed. I'm sure there are ones that are mass produced now, but even the mass produced ones, they have this sense of being hand loomed because they kind of leave them a little asymmetrical, maybe a little fringy, something like that. They have an organic quality to them.
Layered, building interest through various levels of elements. And we talk about that a lot, of having lots of textures and fabrics and patterns layered on top of each other. So this is a lot. This layers is not just things that you would put maybe on a bed, but layers of accessories and things in a room.
Grass cloth. This has come up before, and maybe people heard it and weren't 100% sure. Literally, it is a fine cloth resembling linen woven from grass or vegetable fibers. But we know it more traditionally in the decorating sense as wallpaper. Sometimes grass cloth is used in furniture, but I would think that it would probably not be very durable. But we see it most often applied to the walls.
The term tailored applies to something that has clean lines and that holds up to the test of time, and it is not fussy. So just very simplistic and not a lot of curves. It tends to be very simplistic.
A wingback chair. Wingback is a chair that has a high back and angled panels that join the armrests. There can be different kinds of wings, if you will. They can be butterflies or they can come further in, but it's generally a chair that has those side panels. Often you would see them maybe pulled up to the fireside in, an English estate or something like that. Definitely a cozy feel and very traditional.
And I believe the original thought was to protect the person that was sitting in the chair, to protect their face from the heat of the fireplace. So that was the original.
Oh, isn't that funny, that the image that I conjured up when I thought in my head, like I think of wing chair and pulled up to the fire, and that is what you think it was for. That's so great.
Yes. Well, back in the day, long time before, before central heat. Collected describes a space that is filled with unique pieces that have been acquired over time and pulled together.
By far my favorite look.
Right, versus the matchy-matchy look.
Right. Really, everyone should be striving, for that collected look, no matter really what your style. Because again, it's one of those looks or decor ideas that transcends really all styles and times, don't you think? Because you can have a collected look that's collected, but you tend to mid-century, or you can have a collected look and you can tend to eclectic. You might think that's almost redundant, eclectic and collected.
No,
which is hard to say together, but it's
right.
not.
It means that it works well together, but it doesn't match 100%.
Right. But that's kind of like when people think of eclectic, they're like, oh yeah, it's all different, but hopefully it does work together.
Different styles, not things collected over time.
Right.
To me, those are two different things. So.
Right. That I agree with you, but so that's what I was making that distinction. Mm-hmm. So
yes,
it's definitely over a period of time. Mm-hmm. This is not the big run.
But it can be the same style. So that
is
something different.
Right. Toile, a French word that actually means linen, cloth, or canvas. And it actually refers to a village where this came from. Toile de Joie. I'm sure I probably just butchered the name of that
it's
village.
Toile de Joie. I don't do the French pronunciation, but that's right. Yeah.
And it has figurative pattern and usually a traditional pastoral bucolic type scenes. It's very iconic. I mean, if you know toile, you know it when you see it from a mile away. And usually comes in reds and blues and blacks, but we've definitely seen it in the pinks and the lavenders, and there's a lot of different varieties of toiles, but it definitely has these figures on it that look like they are frolicking in the French countryside.
Sometimes it has just two colors and sometimes it has several. So it can be done either way. An edited room is one that's well thought out and things that don't work are removed. So edited, I would say, is the opposite of cluttered.
Oh, yeah.
Versus minimalist. To me, that's something entirely different.
Right. You know what I'm seeing a lot of in various places, and I really didn't know what it was. Mud cloth. And, if you pop onto the West Elms site and a few other sites, maybe, what was that? Citizenry, places like that, you will see mud cloth mentioned. And, it's definitely a look that once you've seen it, you're like, oh yeah, I get it. But I didn't really know what it was specifically, like what makes it mud. Again, it's kind of a boho look. It's African mud cloth textiles, often in pillows.
So it's on pillows then. Okay.
Or it could be rugs,
Does it look like mud?
Well, it's a plain fabric woven together and sun dried after being painted with fermented mud. And I kid you not, that's the definition.
Wow. It's not sounding appealing to me right now.
No. So what I'm thinking is that's the mud cloth pillows and things that they are selling at West Elm. They're not, they can't really be made from mud, right? It's probably like paint, but it looks like our traditional mud cloth decoration, maybe somewhere in a village in Africa, that's how it was done. I'm guessing. I mean, maybe that's real mud, but I don't think so.
That's interesting. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Whimsical means that there's a sense of humor or some childlike element to the design. It's an element of fun and not meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah. And it shouldn't just be confined to a children's room either. You can have some fun even in a very traditional room, like you've seen like busts and somebody will put a straw hat on them or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah. It's kind of like just to take the edge off it a little bit.
Might be a different way to describe it.
That's fun. I like that.
It's meant to be fun. There you go.
There you go. Little touch of whimsy. It's good in every room. Ambient light. So it's using the natural existing light inherent to the room. You should have that in addition to 3 other sources of light in each room.
Clean means linear and uncluttered, a style that really doesn't have any frills or ruffles or any kind of extra details.
Now, contemporary style or look or design, that is sometimes confused with modern. So contemporary is of this time. So kind of think about it like, if you use the phrase, my contemporaries, like my friends, like they are my friends currently now in my life. So that's how I try to, in my mind, separate contemporary style from modern style. Modern style is of a certain time frame, like think Mad Men, whereas contemporary is just sort of what's happening now. And frankly, in the design scene now, so many things are of the moment, right? Of this time. I think in the past, tell me if you agree with this or not, Anita, like there was a certain look and like kind of everybody was doing it. I guess now, 5 or so years ago when the farmhouse was so hot and kind of like, just everybody, nobody could get enough of it. And I'm sure there were some people that didn't like it at all, but most people bought into the whole farmhouse, like hook, line, and, galvanized basket, kind of thing. Like they went for it. So maybe that would be the contemporary style if you thought of 2015 or something like that.
I wouldn't call farmhouse contemporary though.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Contemporary is not modern. Contemporary is of this time. It's what's now. So like what is now?
Yeah.
Because it's not modern design is.
It may mean that on paper, but I don't think of farmhouse as being contemporary. Maybe that was a bad example. Maybe it's more of the design that's popular. Yeah, that's kind of, but it's the new design, not anything that harkens to the past. And I feel like the farmhouse harkens to the past.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's
to describe.
Okay. So I think I'm just like, I can't put my finger on now what would be considered of this time. So I think we're agreeing, because you're saying like, you don't think farmhouse is contemporary because it harkens to the past, but like what is of this time? Because we all seem to like a lot of different things.
But I would say it is something that's not traditional. I would say contemporary is not traditional. If it's in the traditional bucket, I would say it's not. But that's my interpretation, and I could be wrong. But that's not the way I see it.
Okay. So we'll move on.
Okay.
And that is a very interesting conversation, though. Just if anybody wants to ring in on this, like,
yeah,
you know, when someone looks back to now, say, you know, take this 2000 to 2020 into the future. Like, you know, when we look back on the 70s, we have an idea of what was popular. Sure, everybody wasn't doing that, but like a certain look comes to mind, right? You think back to the 50s, a certain look comes to mind, the 60s, right? The 80s even. Like, but what are people going to think of when it's 2050 and they look back to now? That's a good question. That's a good burning
That's
question.
like you don't know what American is until you leave America. Then you go, oh, that's an American thing. But when you're just an American, you never leave the country. You don't know what that is.
Wow.
So we're
going deep here.
Well, whatever. I'm ready to move on.
Okay. So I forget whose turn it was.
It was mine.
Okay.
Curated. And I see curated as being very similar to edited. You're carefully edited means you're pulling things out, but curated means you're carefully selecting what goes in. So they're rather similar.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I like that ingress and egress part of it. Focal point. It's an item that draws your interest or your eye. And this is such an important thing to understand. And it might not always be the most obvious thing in the room. Oftentimes it is like a fireplace or something like that. But you can really create a focal point on a blank canvas room, you know, a square room that has nothing going on. You could designate what your focal point is going to be, the way you arrange the furniture around it, the way it's highlighted, what color it is, all these things. So a focal point is really important. And if it is something that is unattractive, like some of our listeners were not happy with their brick fireplace or something in their room, but it was this big focal point, you know, that would be something you'd want to focus on changing, because it's hard to decorate around a focal point that isn't beautiful and that you don't love, because then you're making design decisions around something that you don't really like. And that's always a bad idea. Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off, yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com.
The next term I have is armoire, which is a French term for one of the large cabinets these cabinets were used to store clothing. So there were not originally shelves in them. A lot of times if you go to an antique store, you will find an armoire with shelves, but trust me, those shelves were added later because this is where they hung their clothes. And in the 1800s, people did not have the large wardrobes that we have now. And when I say wardrobe, I mean the amount of clothes that we have now. So they didn't need as much space to store their 3 dresses that they owned. So these were big enough to handle everything. Yeah, so they became popular in the late 17th century, and they're popular today for us people that collect antiques.
Newel post. So that is the post at the base of your staircase. This can be very ornate or very simple. If you have a spec house that a builder put together, they may have just used something very utilitarian in design and not too interesting, but that is something you can change out. Both Anita and I have done that. I believe she's done that in her current home. I did it in a former home, and it makes such a difference.
How about a banquette, which is a long bench or an upholstered seat that's normally in a dining area, normally more often seen in a kitchen. It's built in typically, and I think they're getting to be popular again.
I wanted a banquette so badly when we moved into this house, and I was really trying to make it work where that hutch is in my kitchen. It was just too small of a space. I mean, you really do need, I think it's a wonderful way to have your casual dining for your family, but you definitely need a pretty big space because if you think about it, you have to have the back of it, and for it to be comfortable, even if it's not upholstered itself, you're probably going to want to have pillows back there. I think it's a great idea. Have you ever had one in your house?
No. And I think the whole point was that it was not supposed to take up as much space as chairs, but I guess sometimes it does.
Well, I think because you're not pulling the chairs out and all that stuff. But you have to have sort of a space designated for it, like a cutout or an area where it's kind of off, because you can't put a bank out like in the middle of the room, right? It has to be up against the wall.
Oh, of course. And I love the idea, but I've never gone that direction because it's so inflexible.
Yeah.
You're really stuck with the table. And then if you have the light in the center of the room, now it's off center. You've got to move the light fixture over to be above the table. So that's a tough one, making that work. Mm-hmm. Well, Art Deco is a decorative design, and it originated in Paris in the 1920s, and it was popular through the 40s. It's considered a lavish, eclectic form, and elegant and stylish modernism, and it was influenced by Cubism and Futurism. And it's hard to describe it, but you'd know it when you see it, because it's a very unique style, and it has it just says 1930s when you see it.
It really does. And that's really not, I think when we did our styles, one of the popular episodes that you just recounted, we included Art Deco as a style and a look, and we went into it a little bit. But you didn't really see anyone embracing that one so much. I mean, it's very rare, isn't it?
No, I haven't seen anybody who's using much of that. I just remember it in my grandma's house. I see it out when I'm looking for antiques. I keep going. I walk past it.
Right.
I see it a lot. I see it a lot at Round Top.
Do you really?
I just keep walking. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think everyone's dumping it.
I know my grandmother probably she had like a dresser with the big round mirror and then kind of like, I know.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
it was walnut or something like
the vanity. Yes.
The vanity. And it was big and rounded and kind of imposing.
Rounded edges. And it had my grandma had the vanity too. They must have all had them.
I did think it was super cool, but because I thought my grandma was so super cool.
Well, yeah, when I was a kid.
But
I
think it's a very hard look to decorate with.
It's right. It's exactly. Yeah, that would be a tough one. What's yours?
Okay, here's one that I have really learned to embrace. Wabi sabi. It's a Japanese word, and it's really a belief that embraces the art of transcendence. Aesthetically, this translates to an embrace of imperfections and organic materials. So, I've heard people say it often, and I really didn't know what it was. And in fact, a friend of mine who is really into feng shui, she uses this term a lot. And it's nice because it's the sort of beauty in imperfection. So if it's a little wabi-sabi, that's okay. If something a little crooked or it's not exactly perfect or there's a little crack in something, just embrace it.
It's totally my style. I'm not a perfectionist.
You say that, but but everything that you do is beautiful.
Well, you're so sweet to say that. But I have readers say, could you just straighten that picture? It's driving me nuts.
I guess maybe I'm a little too wabi-sabi.
I think you're so wabi-sabi, you don't see it.
I'm the wabi and you're the sabi, and we just think it's all really pretty.
Exactly. You're like, oh, it's fun. And they're like, straighten those candlesticks, they're driving me nuts.
No, but I'm like a crazy straightener. I am. I come from a long line of straighteners, and I'm a straightener. And I see you as a straightener, but you don't.
Oh, I'm definitely. Well, I'm a straightener. Oh, I'm a straightener, but I like the house neat and tidy, but I'm not worried about the candlesticks being 100% straight. And I don't notice the picture frames that tilt sometimes. Mm-hmm. But I cannot stand clutter. So yeah, my house is always picked up.
Right.
So yeah, I'm a straightener, not so much on the cleaning, but I like a clean house. I appreciate it.
Yes. Yes. But I think it's all that also that we really like that old world look, and old world look, even though this is a Japanese word, it's kind of like the same thing. It's, it's going to be rumpled linen sheet, and it's going to be maybe a candle that has a little wax dripping out, but that adds to the whole look.
Yeah, right. And if you are going to be bothered by a scratch or a nick or a dent or a chip,
don't look too close in my house.
Don't look too close, but also antiques are probably not for you, because that's the joy of collecting antiques, which brings me to the next word,
nice transition.
Which is patina. And patina is something that shows wear. I think of patina as maybe a verdigris, that green color from copper turns as it oxidizes, but also it refers to the look of older furniture. So a patina means something that's been aged over time.
Yeah. And really, initially that term was defining the way metal ages, right? Like you're saying, like, the Statue of Liberty turning green and all of that.
Mm-hmm,
but designers use the term, and we use it a lot, to just really characterize anything that has weathered, whether it's through actually weather or the ages and things like that, just getting to this desirable condition of imperfection.
Yeah, and I said copper, but I think it's bronze that turns the green. I think I may have misspoken.
Yeah, I don't know what she's made of. No, I think copper does too. Doesn't it? Like if you have a copper penny, some old ones, sometimes they look green.
Okay. Okay.
I know you had another one you wanted to do, demilune.
Demilune. That's right. That is a table that is flat on the back and rounded on the front. And this is a style typical of Gustavian furniture. And I love demilune tables. Don't you love a beautiful demilune?
Who doesn't, actually? No, and they're really useful too. I mean, they're nice in an entry. I mean, you can have them looning or not looning. They're just really pretty.
Why, I have one in the back seat of my car right now.
I don't know. How did that get there? I don't know.
What happened?
Just driving down the road one day. Okay, so this is one that's off the cuff. I don't have it in my notes, but it made me think of it when you were talking about tables.
Are we winding down?
Well, I just thought of this one, but we can wind down. We have a good listener question and stuff.
Okay.
An Irish waking table. People may have heard of that term. I mean, that's, definitely if you like antiques, but
does that have to do with somebody being dead?
Well, yes, of course.
Oh,
it does. Because in Ireland, they used to wake the people at home and they would have them on a table, and
wait a minute. Wake the people at home?
Not what? Wake. These people are not being waked up. These people have passed away.
Having the wake. So having the
right. And the
viewing,
people would come and, being Roman Catholic, they're going to come and they're going to look and the people are going to be there and they would have the people on this table. They're long, narrow tables. And when I had first heard that term, I wasn't really sure what that meant, but it's really the shape.
And then you bought one and then you freaked out.
Well, there's some that are, supposedly really are antiques and had been used for that purpose. But I guess, anybody's kitchen table at that time, I guess could have been used for that.
Did you buy a kitchen table that size just on the off chance someone was going to die, or did you borrow one?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of a little confused.
Planning ahead. But I've also seen the term used with regard to just tables that are shaped that way. And they might be reproductions. So I don't know if anybody's going to encounter that, but if you do, if it matters to you, you might want to find out if it's an antique or if it's a repro.
Do you still have family in Ireland?
No. Not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, maybe.
I have some family that came from there. We're probably related if you go back far enough.
Well, I'm sure we probably are. The overlap can't be a coincidence. Okay, so what are we going on? We got some precious.
One more chinoiserie because I just love this one. It is a French term meaning Chinese-esque, and it is the style or art or decoration reflecting Chinese design or motifs on furniture.
And it's just really fun to say once you get it right.
I know.
I think I kind of mumbled that word for many a year, but now I think I feel confident that I can say it right. Yeah, what's your crush today?
Oh, my crush is the Overdrive app for your phone, and it works on Android and on an iPhone. The Overdrive app, I have been using Overdrive for probably 10 years at least. This is a great way to listen to audiobooks, and here's the best part. It's free.
So Overdrive is the name of the app.
The Overdrive is the name of the app, and the way it works is you're going to have a library card for your local library.
Okay.
And then once you link it, you have to see if your library works with Overdrive. But I have the Houston library, which is rather large, and so it works with my library. So I can borrow an audiobook online. So there's a book that I wanted, and I said if it's a popular book, I might have to wait till my turn. But then I get an email saying it's available, and I download it directly to my phone. And when my borrow period is up, then the download is gone. But it's
then
free.
they just clear it off. So it lives in the app the whole time.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. In the old days, it didn't actually delete. You had to do it yourself. But now it's no longer available after it's expired.
Oh, wow.
But it's a great way.
So cool.
Well, I don't have time to listen to them all right away anyway, so I just kind of put it on the wait list, and when it becomes available, I listen to it.
Oh, wow. Okay. And it's all free.
It's all free because you're borrowing from your library. You can also borrow ebooks, but I just do the audiobooks.
Okay.
And like I said, I've been listening to audiobooks this way, well, I say 10 years, probably more like 15 or even longer. In the old days, before smartphones, I used Overdrive on my computer. So yeah, but it's been around for a while. Great app. Check it out.
That's a good tip. Okay. Remember Anita had talked about that cashew ice cream, and I mentioned this ice cream that I had bought, but I couldn't remember the name of it. Okay, so today that's my crush. It's Van Leeuwen, and it's VanLeeuwen. And they're out of Brooklyn, New York. It is the most beautiful packaging, and it's the Earl Grey tea ice cream.
And what's the milk made out of? Is it cashew milk, did you say?
No, that was you. I'm real. I'm the real deal.
Is this real milk?
Yeah. It contains milk, eggs, made in a facility that processes tree nuts, dairy, wheat, and eggs. It's a whole thing. It's a real ice cream.
It sounds wonderful.
The ingredients are cream, milk, egg yolk, cane sugar, organic black tea, organic bergamot, and citrus. Or bergamot citrus, I should say.
It sounds delicious.
Oh, it's so good. And the thing is, I like to have a little something sweet after dinner, whether it's a little piece of chocolate, something like that. We're still working our way through a little Easter egg, something like that. But all you need of this, I don't even know if I'd want a whole cone of it. Like just like a cup, like a little Dixie cup of it would be perfect. It's delicious. If you like Earl Grey, because that's a very distinctive flavor. And the packaging is so beautiful. It's that sort of that cross between periwinkle and blue that you love so much. Oh, you'll just want it for the container.
Well, I found some ice cream recently that was chai, so I'm sure this is delicious too.
Oh, yeah. This is good. I'm gonna send you the link straight away, and then we'll add it to the show notes.
That sounds fantastic.
Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy-to-reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health: potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT.
So let's see. We have a question today. It's Michelle M. Michelle sent us a very lovely email. She loves everything that's going on in the podcast. She particularly loves Anita's decorating style. There's overlaps very much. And she has a very beautiful antique print of a woman. She says it's called Voices of Fairyland, and it's it's a black and white, and it's like this kind of. She doesn't really look. She looks like a lovely, almost like Greek goddess kind of. Wouldn't you say, Anita? Like she's kind of like in a like a toga sort of thing, and she's in the forest, and she's kind of just very pretty. And it definitely has a vintage vibe to it. And so Michelle was asking us about how to frame
this looks like something that was done around 1910 or something would be my guess.
Okay. So what did you want to jump in there, or you want me to?
Did you finish with the question?
Yeah. So she wants to know how to frame it. It currently is in a rather ornate dark brown frame with, I believe, like some sort of brownish matte.
Because this is a black and white, I would be not so interested in adding color with the matte. So I would probably go with a gray matte and then a black or a silver frame. Because this was probably around, I'm going to guess, like I said, around 1910, I would probably go with more of an Edwardian style frame to match the look of the print. So I would probably go with something, a little on the ornate side, but maybe something silver or black would be nice with this. I don't know that I would go with a wood stain frame with this, but that's probably what was originally on it.
Right.
But that's my thought.
Right.
What about you?
I so agree with you. I would not do a colored matte. I would do some sort of, could be dark gray, could be dove gray. I think black might be a little too much, but some sort of gray I thought would be really pretty. And then it's to go in Michelle's entryway. And she has this kind of, would you call it like a balm chest there? This could be also part of our decorating lingo. Would you characterize that?
Well, I'm not sure which chest is the foyer, so I'm not really sure.
Okay. I'm sorry?
I'm not sure which chest is the foyer. I don't see a chest I don't think I would describe it that way. No.
Okay.
But I may be looking at the wrong thing. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's rather ornate and it's brown. Mm-hmm. And then she has two lamps on either side of it. And that's where this print is to hang. So I think because that's rather ornate. And then the print of the woman is, it's kind of, it almost has like a Victorianish feel to it. Like there's a lot going on, right? Mm-hmm. Even if it's not of that era, it has that feel to it. So I would kind of rough it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I think I would almost do like a weathered gray frame.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would juxtapose it with that. And I think that might be kind of cool because she's got these Texas hides going on. And I see in that one photo that I'm particularly looking at, she's got gray kitchen cabinets in the background and that are kind of, well, they look great to me. They look like that weathered kind of material. The photo that I'm looking at, Anita, is the one where there's the chest and then there's the cowhide on the floor. And right now there's a picture that says family on it. I believe that's where Michelle wants to hang this lovely lady there.
Well, first off, I want to say Michelle is from my neighborhood, the Houston Heights.
Yeah.
Or she used to live here, and now she's in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And the room is beautiful, and it's kind of it's a lovely mix of Texas or Oklahoma or both with beautiful antiques. So she's done a wonderful, wonderful job. I wanted to make sure Michelle heard that. It is a beautiful home.
Yes, it is stunning. And I'm looking at this piece of furniture. And I would take that back. I wouldn't call it a bomb. That's how I was thinking about it and that would be bomb, BOMBE. And that's kind of like those bulbous kind of chest or dresser shapes. I would not call it that in my mind. That's what it looked like. This is very ornate and just very pretty. There's a lot of curvy lines going on here.
It's definitely an antique for sure.
Yeah, definitely an antique. And I think that I would juxtapose it with something very weathered for the frame of this.
Like a barnwood type of frame?
Yeah, almost like a weathered gray barnwood. Because can you see the cabinets, her kitchen cabinets in the background there?
I don't think I saw the cabinets, but I think you could get away with that for sure. Yeah. I mean, the frame doesn't have to match. And the color is really more of my concern than even the style of the frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, she has some, I guess that's a deer head, antlers and the skull in a very ornate frame. So see, that's kind of
it's the same
an
sort
Oklahoma,
of thing. You're absolutely right.
Or Texas theme. Yeah.
Yeah. She's kind of got one of those, you would think of them as like a Georgia O'Keeffe skull and antlers, right? Like I always think of Georgia O'Keeffe when I see those because she painted those inside a very ornate gilded frame that Michelle, I think, she explained how she painted that, and she did a very nice job. It's lovely.
Yeah, and I like using the cowhides kind of mixed in. But, I'm in Texas, so what can I say?
That's your thing. So, yeah, I hope that helped, Michelle. And I hope everybody got some info on some decorating terms that you may not have known too much about or maybe never even heard before. So we thought that would be kind of a fun thing to go through today.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle, for sending that in. This was so fun. I hope this was helpful, and I hope we covered some terms that maybe were new to you. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
I want to remind you that we are available for design consults. We take on your design dilemmas, questions, renovations, any project you want to talk about, any room, any space. We are here for you. And we really do enjoy doing these. And I think we've helped people a lot. So if you want to sign up for a consult, head to the link in the show notes. It's decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. We hope to talk to you soon.